Hi, Jeremy.
Hi,
My name is Sarah Asatelli.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How was the drive here? Did you get here okay in the snow?
Oh, it was no problem. I've been
Oh.
living in this neck of woods my whole life.
Okay, awesome. That's good to hear. You welcome to Johnson Park Neighborhood Association, and then you are interviewing for the Community Engagement Public Safety Specialist intern here.
That's correct.
All right, so this process won't last more than 30 minutes. We'll talk about your resume, your credentials, and then you can ask me any questions you may have.
Speaking of which, here's a copy of my resume and cover letter.
Awesome, thank you. Good. Okay, awesome. So we can get started. So the position of the Community Engagement Public Safety Specialist intern has a lot to do with the community development that we are very passionate about here. We support the public safety with working with the city and the community surrounding Milwaukee. We work a lot with our partners, so we're really big on communication and making sure that everyone is on the same page no matter what projects we're doing. So can you tell me a little bit about what attracted you to this internship opportunity?
Well, I've always been interested in giving back to my community, and as a communications major, I have a big interest in people. I've always known helping people is where I wanted to take this. And I think there's be no better way to start than helping out with my own community. I've been living here for the past 23 years.
That's good, because the whole community and helping out is a huge passion and it's what we do. So how does this role fit into your long-term career goals?
Well, I'm not exactly sure where the end of the road is going to take me, but I know the direction in which I'm heading. And helping people and promoting safer communities and bringing people together is definitely on my way. And I believe that this company will be a great stepping stone for me to reach those goals and possibly working into like international communities.
Okay, awesome, good. I'm glad to hear that. So, can you tell me about the most important experience you have had that will highlight your fit for the community engagement public safety specialist?
Well, back at UWM, I was a resident assistant. So I managed 50 residents on 2 floors as a part of a tower of residents with a team that managed around 6,000 residents.
Wow,
So working in those communities, teaching those young kids how to have a safer environment, planning events, and being like a mentor, and all these. The job is a lot of various responsibilities. It's hard to stamp exactly what a resident assistant does, but if I had to say, we're definitely community development is definitely like the majority of our tasks.
okay. Making sure that the children are involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Okay. So I see that in your resume, you used to clean up the neighborhood with your grandfather as a child.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Could you tell me a little about that experience you had as a child, and how it impacted you today?
For the first half of my life, every Sunday, without fail, me and my grandfather would go around the community, and we'd pick up garbage around the community. My grandfather was a standout in the community and in a church. Believed that a safe neighborhood was a safe neighborhood. Although at the time, the lessons I was learning didn't seem quite apparent, but the lessons that I took away from that impact me on a daily basis.
Okay. And then what did you take away from that?
I took away the importance of community. That everyone plays a role in this community. That you can't just live here and not be a part of it. That we are all growing as one people, and that like you can't. if one person is hungry, the community is hungry. So we all need to grow and get better together.
Okay, good. Yes, that is something we value here too. Everyone on our staff is involved. Everyone has to be actively involved in this, um, in our company, just because we are very community engaged with the city, with surrounding cities. So involvement is big for us.
I hope so.
So I see that you were also employed for Happy Lumps.
This is true.
Could you elaborate on that a little more for me?
Happy Lawns is a company that takes care of the lawn care from neighborhoods as far as, let's say, Stevens Point. You go all the way up to Cudahy and like neighborhoods in between. We take care of people's grass, laying down fertilizers and weed killers, insecticides, and we also do aerations. And the job has a risk factor to it. We are putting down like dangerous chemicals, so safety and like discipline is a priority in like this company. And also, it's more like as a family environment. Everyone got along really well. Everyone were friends, and it was that kind of like the love and like homogenous organizations that kept us really flowing.
Okay. Good. So then, in that job, could you tell me about a problem that you faced during it, and then how you handled the problem?
But when I started the job, I wasn't applying the product correctly. I started out almost like thrown to the wolves, like I went right into working, and they quickly realized that like I wasn't trained well enough. And then so I left the partner who I started with, and I went to the boss, Frank, and he taught me how to apply the product, the best way to do it. And I worked with him for about a week. And then after that, I got moved to a different partner, so it's like 3 separate partners. This guy by the name of Rico, and he'd been working there for about 7 years. And the way that like I learned from Frank was not the way he wanted me to do it. And I just spent a week with the boss because I was not performing well already, to learn a disciplined way to perform the task. And upon leaving him, I went to somebody else who told me not to do it that way. Because it was his route. And this is the way he wanted to do the yards. And we kind of bumped heads a little bit on it, but in the end of the day, like I was a partner in the organization. There's the drivers and there's the partners. So if a yard did get burned or things did like go wrong, it wouldn't be my head on the stake. It would be his. So at the end of the day, I had to abide and do it by the way that my driver was doing it.
Yeah, I can see how that can be a very difficult situation to be put into. But it's good that you did. I mean, you didn't know what you were doing, so you went and asked questions. Which is, if you're on the job here and you have any questions, you should feel comfortable asking anyone who is employed here, because we're all open to helping each other succeed. And then, so a big part of this job is building relationships with people in our community, and it's very important for us to do that. Could you please describe a time within job, school, that you had to build a relationship with someone or a clientele?
Back to my resident assistant position. The job is not an easy job. It can be, depending on what you want to get out of it, but in order to do, in my opinion, in order to be effective at your job, the residents have to trust you, and they have to like you. Even though you are a bit of a disciplinarian, they're not going to trust you, they're not going to like you, and they're not going to trust you if you're too abrasive or if you're too cold. And so any positive influence that you might want to give to these kids, any help you might want to teach them, will fall on deaf ears if you don't go about it correctly. So you really had to show them that you were a person also. and you had to really bridge the gap. You couldn't pretend to have a relationship with these kids. You actually had to know them, and you had to try, or else you'll never get that conversation that they wish they told somebody.
Yeah, so trust building is a big thing when you're just in general for building relationships with someone, and you have to have, like you said, effective communication with the children as well. So we value working with a team and individually. Could you tell me about an experience that you had working with a team and how it was rewarding to you? Sorry.
Well, various opportunities in my resident assistant position, we work in teams. We'll have daunting tasks of putting together elaborate events, like some that are just one weekend, and some that are just a day, but some that last the span of an entire semester. And everyone's going to have their individual part, and you have to come to play. You need to have your things done, like your homework done by the time you get there, and when you get there, you need to be open and receptive to what the team is doing. Often you get somebody in a group who will feel that they should be a leader, but sometimes there just aren't leaders in groups. And that kind of mentality will cause divisions. So everyone needs to play their role and not get too overzealous and stay humble and keep working together as to benefit the whole group.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is all of the questions I have for regarding job specifics. So, just general questions. The position is actually part-time, 10 to 15 hours a week. Is this something that you would be interested in starting spring semester with your school schedule?
Part-time is beautiful, actually, with my school schedule. And starting at a path that will direct me towards my career while going to school should provide a sense of motivation as I try to finish my degree.
Okay, good. And then what is your schedule looking like next semester?
I'll be,
Just so I can get an idea.
I'll be taking classes all day on Tuesdays and all day on Thursdays, so I'll be leaving me open Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and weekends.
Every day but Tuesday and Thursday. Awesome. And then this job has a total stipend of $8,000. Do you have any concerns with that or issues?
No, as a college student, I'm well aware of working within my means,
Okay.
and such amount of money will be more than beneficial for me to do what I need to do.
Okay.
And in
Good.
the long run, it is an experience that is more valuable than the money I'm taking away from this.
Okay, good. That's what we hope our interns can get out of this, that it's not just about money, which is why I'm asking the question. But very good. So if offered the position for the spring, when could you be available to start?
Anytime by the beginning of the spring semester. The spring semester starts, I believe, the 27th of January.
Okay.
I should be free from then on.
Okay, so 27th of January. Sounds good. Yeah, we were hoping for kind of end of January, beginning of February, so that's very good. And then do you have any questions for me?
What are some common obstacles for new hires in through this opportunity?
Well, you won't be out on the job every single day. Your schedule, maybe not schedule, what you do every day varies. So one day you could be helping us at the office, while the next you're on one side of the city helping South Milwaukee with their community engagement project, which will be starting with them early spring. So that's definitely something that you'll be participating in. So just not always being out in the field. Some people they don't really like that as much, and they would rather be in the field all the time. But you'll have your office days, which just filing paperwork, and then you'll have days where you're in the field doing everything. So sometimes people find that as an obstacle, and I hope that's not the case, though.
As I progress through this opportunity, will my skills start to be honed in specific categories, or am I more of a miscellaneous asset?
Well, upon offered the position, we will talk more into job specifics. If this is something that once the spring semester is over, you were like, wow, this is great, I wish I could continue this over the summer, and you had specific things that you liked about the internship that you wanted to do, you could definitely sit down and talk to one of myself or another one of the supervisors, and we could definitely work something out. But as for the internship, we would like our interns to kind of get the whole around every aspect of our company and the public safety specialist job. So.
And addressing the teamwork, will there be more sanctions of teams, or are we be being bounced around to participate in multiple teams? So will I have a more of a consistent team, or is the entire organization one big team?
Well, the entire organization is one big team, but for specific projects, you will be put into separate teams to work on those together. And then all the projects that we do and the work that you do, you will be directed back to either myself or one of the other supervisors. I hope that, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And is there any opportunity for forward advancement in the span of my internship?
Yes. Like I said before, if you really liked it after the spring semester and we liked your performance, then we could all definitely sit down and talk about, either a part-time position, continuing as the intern, or, after you graduate, start this as your full-time career.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And then I should reach out to you hopefully by phone by the end of next week if we would like to go forward with our second interview.
All right, thank you.
Cool. Thank you. It was nice to meet you, Jeremy.
Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.